Welcome to mySci Unit 8, Putting on a Show with Light and Sound, Lesson 7. In this lesson, students will answer the question, what is rhythm? Students figure out that patterns of sound and silence can create rhythm. They're going to think about how rhythm, volume, and pitch can then be used to communicate in their show that they're going to put on using shadow puppets. In the engage portion of this lesson, you'll ask students, what is a pattern? Have students turn and talk and discuss different patterns they see in their everyday life. After the discussion, give students time to draw a pattern on the student journal page, Pattern Drawings. In the Explore portion of this lesson, you'll ask the question, how can we make rhythms? You'll then define the word rhythm to students by explaining that a rhythm is a pattern in a sound. Once you have posed these questions and explained the definition of rhythm, have the students pair up. Once students are in pairs, give each pair of students an instrument found in the mySci kit. This could be a ruler, a kazoo, the palm pipes, or anything else you might have in your classroom that they can use as an instrument. Challenge each of the pairs to come up with a unique rhythm. Then gather all students' whole group and have each pair of students share out the rhythm that they created. Once all of the pairs have finished showing off their patterns, ask the class, what does silence have to do with rhythm? Demonstrate a rhythm to students. For example, ask students what makes that rhythm that you just shared. Allow students to think, pair, and share. Remind them of the class definition of rhythm. And then challenge the groups to create another rhythm, but that they should integrate silence into their new rhythm. Students will share out their new rhythms that they've created, and then you can have the other students in the class mimic that rhythm back to them using their own instruments. Challenge them to come up with their own non-example of a pattern using their instruments. You should listen for things like random taps or noises that aren't in a pattern. In the elaborate portion of this lesson, you'll have students connect the idea of rhythm to music. Students will then watch a series of videos that talks about why it's important that musicians listen when they try to play together. Continue the conversation about rhythm and music and ask students how they think we can use music to communicate feelings. You'll then play a clip of music from an orchestra and ask students to describe how that music made them feel. After the discussion, start generating a list of feelings and put them on the board, like happy, sad, mad, angry, joyful. You'll then challenge students to use rhythm, pitch, and volume to try to communicate those different feelings you've listed on the board. Then ask students, how can we apply this to our shadow puppet show? Discuss their thoughts as a whole group. In the evaluate portion of this lesson, you'll refer back to the question, what is rhythm? On the pattern drawings handout found in the student journal, have students draw one of the rhythms that they made with their partner. Have them use symbols that represent sound, silence, pitch, and volume. Here is the example found in the teacher pages. A capital A is used to represent a loud noise. A lowercase b is a soft noise. A lowercase a in a different color means a change in pitch. And an underscore is equal to silence. This can communicate the difference between the rhythm and the pitch and the volume as students are trying to draw a pattern. It may be helpful to walk through one example of how they might communicate their pattern on paper. For example, you can draw these letters on the board and then act it out to show them the significance of each letter. To close the lesson, remind students that they're still going to be putting on a show with light and sound and ask them how this idea of rhythm, pitch, and volume can help them communicate during their play with shadow puppets. By the end of this lesson, students will have answered the question, what is rhythm? And they will have demonstrated how rhythm is made from patterns of sound and silence.